designated by organizations are to be detained only when it is clear that they cannot prevent the emergency. And there was that's making reference to the economic and political problems getting ready to smash these peoples in the heads. They were preparing for it. Okay? Working with local public officials during the first critical hours, all other leaders are to be detained at once. Compiled lists of minority leaders have been readied at the National Data Computer Center. It is necessary to use the minority leaders designated by the president in much the same manner in which we use minority members who are agents with central and federal, and we cannot, until there is no alternative, reveal King Alfred in all its aspects. Minority members of Congress will be unseated at once. This move is not without precedent in American history. Attorney General, now I need you to pay attention to this next paragraph. So when you be thinking that politicians and people in service and your so-called community leader guys and leader girls, these different organizations, churches, mosques, and synagogues and temples who are at us, all of them are at us, don't know this, you're sorely mistaken. Just because they ain't talking to you on the front. They're getting them coins in the back. You know, the Judas Factor, 3 pieces of silver, sells you out, they be saying Jesus, and you get all teary-eyed, and they're distracting you. And get them pushy jaws to nothing. So pay attention to this paragraph and notice how this military document, they actually tell you the truth, but most people never get a chance to read stuff like this. Preliminary memo. And then they get bigger so y'all can't miss it. Well, I want you to make a comment on it. Feel free to make a comment on it. Attorney General. Preliminary memo. Department of Defense. This memo is being submitted in lieu of a full report from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That report is now in preparation. There will be many cities where the minority will be able to put into the street a superior number of people with a desperate and dangerous will. Pay attention to this line, y'all. He will be a formidable enemy, for he is bound to the continent by heritage, and knows that political asylum will not be available to him in other countries. The greatest concentration of minority is in the Deep South, the Eastern Seaboard, the Great Lakes region, and the West Coast. And so our people have been told they were brought from someplace else, and they're actually bound to this continent by heritage. And they're looking to go someplace else in the name of going back to Africa, and they're standing on that. Great Islamic secret. Do you understand? And everybody, all your leading, marching, praying, civil rights guys, know this now, knew it before, and always know it. That's why Martin Luther King made the statement one time before they gave him the signal that he was being neutralized. He said, our people are refugees in their own land. He broke his Masonic oath when he said that. So he knew he was tagged after that anyway. That's why all of his speeches thereafter were prophetic.
Islam, Morris. Let's start it up. Face the east, 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector. My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. To his holy prophet. Islam. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their cardin button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Drew Ali. Islam. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds, the ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is the instruction from your prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you would be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but would sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Today was this video on Nigerian national consciousness and identity, and the perspectives that they have in what qualifies them as a nation, and how whatever they're doing, we can or should be or whatever implementing for our national consciousness. But before we do that, I was from yesterday, we got or in the week, brother Walter had sent me contact with some people who got in touch with Cameron and these people, and we saw that it's the prophecy of Drew Ali, and your own's gonna put you in slavery, and all the stuff we got to read before every meeting that we've been reading, that he's put it out there like that. So we wanted to just go through some of the oral statements and just put that to the Moors to give their perspectives on what they think the meaning, or what you think the meaning is for yourself from some of these prophecies. Some of them that we read might have happened already or are on the way to happening, but We just want to start just with an open discussion on the prophecies of Noble Drew Ali. The Holy Prophet Drew Ali showed Brother T. Booker Bay and some other Moors one night a spot in Chicago, Illinois, where a Moabite queen ruled from. Her name was Queen Neith, and she waged war against 5 pharaohs. At that spot, the Holy Prophet dug down into the ground and dug up a metal bar with foreign writing on it. That was prophecy number 30. So just put it out to the floor. What questions arise? What comes to mind from that prophecy?
Read again.
The Holy Prophet Drew Ali showed Brother T. Booker Bay and some other Moors one night a spot in Chicago, Illinois, where a Moabite queen ruled from. Her name was Queen Neith, and she waged war against 5 pharaohs. At that spot, the Holy Prophet dug into the ground and dug up a metal bar with foreign writing on it.
I think the fact that we're mentioning Queen Neith and her waging war against 5 pharaohs is that pharaohs from saying over here on this side, pharaohs from over there. It said that pulling the bar with foreign writing on it, foreign writing being from another place. You see like overseas, that writing being over there and being put here.
Right.
And that's how we think about more white queen.
Mm-hmm.
Any information on the timeline?
No, other than somewhere between 1913 and 1929, as far as when it was set. But the reference point that he's making, no, there isn't any.
One thing on that, the 5 pharaohs, the fact that she's a woman, that she's mother already, so the 5 pharaohs will represent the star, and she's a mother.
Mm-hmm.
So the sword, I guess she must have used the sword to defeat them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just guessing.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? And so part of it is when because we have no direct reference point for these, it's we look at all the literature being small so that you're inspired to go check certain things as far as research, because if there was audio of this or something, that would be a whole different thing, right? But because it's classified as prophecies and there's nothing really said, it's somebody said what he said, that ability for people to question it comes up. Well, he's not really, because right? In doing the research, you'll find out, like what you're talking about, pharaohs from where, because our thought is going to be pharaohs over there, right? A Moabite queen ruling, well, she's ruling over here, right? And if it's, you know, what context is Moabite, as Moabite from the land of Moabite that, you know, like you're saying, brought stuff over here, you know. Are you talking about here? Because there's Moab here too. So there's different places that it could go. And like you're saying, the metal bar with the foreign writing did the foreign writing come with the bar, or was the foreign writing put on the bar by somebody here? You know.
And they also was to say, like, because when we speak about how we're navigating shores coming to and from.
Mhm.
So saying more by queen that was ruling could be ruling on both sides of body of water.
Mhm. Sister A. Brown L. of Temple 4 and 25 said that the Holy Prophet Nobujuali said, I'm going to leave the European here just long enough to teach you how to run government. Sister A. Brown L. of Temple 4 and 25 said that the Holy Prophet Nobujuali said, I'm going to leave the European here just long enough to teach you how to run government.
Which number is that?
45. Now, one way of looking at it is the idea that our people not having the knowledge of how government runs, and them being here, being the people who even learned from our foremothers and forefathers, there's something there, regardless what it is that they're doing, that we can learn from in order for us to know how to govern ourselves. And when we have those things in place, which is where Nobujuali was getting us to the part where, you know, we have our own representatives on our own side that is going to be doing the job of the people who we see on that side doing a bad job, right? When we look at the convention and things of that nature, you know, businesses, you know, young men's business league teaching the children how to run businesses so that they have that information, opposed to getting old and going to wherever they got to go to, or going through whatever they have to go through to get that information, right? The European being here long enough was supposed to be a template, a reference of, well, if they can do it, because they're foreigners here, they got permission to come here, they set up whatever it is that they set up, and then we're looking at it 2021 and everybody's going to go try to join their thing to be citizens or whatever, and they're not even considering who the indigenous people are. You know, are they still around? Do they have any type of governmental thing? Everybody's just going directly to them, right? Peace more, right? So it's and also too, when you go to Clock of Destiny and CM Bay and that whole aspect or perspective of the Europeans' position as a governmental entity, right? That all their stuff came from us. So them being here, even right now, even though it's democracy, them being here is you know, a buffer to show what could work, what maybe we shouldn't even consider trying to implement, because look at how they had it. Or is it something that, well, because it's not theirs and they're using it is why they keep, is it because that they keep saying democracy, why the stuff keeps falling over? You know what I mean? But regardless of what it is that they're presenting, the thing that they have isn't ours, right? If when we look at the 1920s, Moors were working at a Moorish business. So Moor was working, they had some type of trade or whatever that they were doing, right? Or they were working for a Moorish business that had their own, or they were working for a Moorish one. And then when we look at everybody else, as far as the nations, this is what they're doing. That they set up the business, and then they got how many people, since they were small, the convenience store's still there. Now their son's running it or whatever. Their son's running it now. Because it's a mindset for them that this is how our stuff runs. Our stuff hasn't been running. Our stuff has been suppressed. So we're at the point of gaining momentum again, getting the energy flowing again in the right direction. But that's only going to happen with the right mindset, the right information, the right individuals who all have that vision. That the European, like Joali said, the European isn't our enemy; it's our fellow man. There isn't any hatred like that. Because if we go that, we're in error, because we had them in servitude, and they ain't getting no reparations and all that stuff for us putting them in servitude. So if they want to start riling up about, well, we want to get something back for what happened to us, there's going to be an issue. But the issue is going to go both ways, because then that's going to give up the game that we're not the slaves, they are. And at that point, everybody better have in their mind, oh yeah, that we're the government. Because why would you want a slave to be your master? Why wouldn't you just be a master of yourself, right? So again, I'm going to leave the European here just long enough to teach you how to run a government. Any thoughts on that prophecy?
But specifically looking at Wars Over the Round Table, they had a booklet called Parliamentary Procedure, and it talks about magi's, and magi's being the parliament. Is that the same thing as like representatives of a group of people? So magi's being people who are kind of, when we talk about government, those who are speaking in representation for the people.
If you're looking at it broad, but the magi would be a certain jurisdiction that might not really be part of a government like that. That's its own lane. Just like the president is its own lane. Grand Sheik is its own lane. Secretary is its own lane. But there's echelon and all that. So magi is one of those. A rabbi is one of those. 90 whatever degree Mason is one of those. There's a level where people are put or elected, to be the representative, right? On the broad perspective. So, with the church, they have their conclave and they pick whoever's going to be the next pope or whatever, right? The democracy stuff has, you're going to go vote for this guy. And then, hopefully the guy you vote for is going to do what it is that you want him to do since you voted for him, right? Yeah, it's going to go back to the thing of the representative. So in our jurisdiction, the representatives would be the Grand Sheik, the Grand Governor, the Grand Chairman, the Secretary, and all the people with the titles, right? And then even with the Quran, it's making reference that you're the ones who gave us your sovereignty for us to be your representative. It's not we say we're it, and then this is why we do town halls and things like that, because it's about the people realizing that this is their government. This is where they're supposed to be at, as far as if we're gonna be, we might as well be part of our. Everybody else is part of theirs. Talk to the Japanese, talk to the Chinese, talk to the Turks, talk to the whoever else. They have their own entity that even though they have a license or whatever from U.S. or Canada. But the difference with us is that, we have whatever instruments from them, but then there's no other thing for us to go to. Which again goes back to why Drew Ali and him giving us flag, certain things to say that we're a nation. So we could start being what it is that we're supposed to be, to have what it is that we're looking to have. Especially when we're looking at other people and all of them got a nation. And a lot of them, especially with out here, a lot of them came here after us. Like our family coming here, and some Hindustani family coming here. Hindustani family, they got 5 businesses. They have some gated community somewhere or whatever like that. You know what I mean? And every house around them is only them. And that just happened in the past 20 years. Them coming here and having areas, you know what I mean? All we've ever had was Eglinton West. That's as far as, businesses for the black, whatever like that. Ain't nowhere else other than that. And anywhere else, it's probably just a store. It's not even a strip. You go Spadina, you got a strip of stuff that's another nation. That's theirs. You look around, only there are people there. Look in the stores, only there are people in there. You go to Bathurst, people got a strip where it's only certain people who dress a certain way and whatever like that, and everything is sort of working out for them. But then you look at our people, there's Jaden Finch, and then Malvern, and then St. Jamestown, and then all these different areas that are it's not for people to be there. But again, it's going back to the same thing with Drew Ali, that if our people looked at the European like their fellow man, they wouldn't play the race game and fall behind, because they're directly falling behind because of that mindset. The mindset that European did something and then we got to do something, and then this back and forth tug of war thing where nobody else is doing that as far as their relations with the European. We're the only ones playing that friction thing, and it goes back to what some of what we're going to do today, that people have a national consciousness. So we have a national consciousness, but it's going to only be invoked by us. We're the ones that are going to be that. There isn't so, unless we're talking about, Moors of Spain and all that or whatever. But as far as over here and the impact that Moors are going to make here, it's going to be based in the individuals who are directly involved with it, that are going to put their footprint in the sand. you know, and then others are going to see what that is, and then, you know, the will is that the ones later don't have to look to the European to see how to run government. They're going to look to us, because who else? Why would we not look to the founders of civilization for how civilization is supposed to run? And again, doing the things up to doing it to the standard that it's supposed to be, with, you know, the principles and certain things that nobody could refute. There's no way they're not going to see us and use us as a reference point once it's running how it's supposed to be running. You know what I mean? And again, it's with the people whose nation it is seeing it as that. Just like all these European nations see their nation as whatever it is, regardless of where they are, what citizenship they claim or whatever like that. They know about their ancestry and their culture and all that, you know, without doubt or contradiction. You know, and we have to be in that same place, you know, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and every other way, you know, really in tune with what it is to like Jolly said, to hold this gospel plow, to be the tiller of this field, takes being on a certain level. You know what I mean? You have to be at that certain level. You know, you have to, you know, put away the childish things and grow up, take some responsibility. That's just what it is. It's not, you know, because we know that the idea of the European having their thing, and then we go through all the different nations, and some of them been through some BS too, and they have something right now. It might not be what they had, but they got more than what they got, and we have to be the ones to do that. You know, it's not going to be somebody else, just like with the religion. It ain't going to be some guy floating on the clouds going to save you. You better be prepped to save yourself, so that once you save yourself, others could say, oh, that actually worked, or whatever, you know. Right. Any other thoughts on that? The European here to teach us to run government?
So one thought that the government starts from the home, and for our people, the home is getting broken up.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Quran, the Holy Quran, Noble John is teaching the fathers what to read, so they can deal with their wives in the house. Teaching the mother how to what to read, while the literature is there for her to read, how to govern herself in the house, and the children what they should read, how they should govern themselves in the house, and the daughters. So all these things is government coming from that book, and then watching the European from our eyes, they have a wife, they always get married and have their family. We just try to do jobs and cars or whatever, and we have a broken home. So we're never learning to govern ourselves. We're always trying to be the consumers, not the people who's having a stable home. So the lesson that he's leaving there is basically what he's showing us. You know, look, open your eyes and look at Europeans, whoever is coming in, how they're governing themselves from their home.
Yeah.
And then it branches out to their community. You know?
Any other thoughts? 56. Brother O. Peyton Bay, GS of Temple 25 in Michigan, said that the Holy Prophet said, let all old business stay as it is, and all new business do it in your free national name. In other words, do not change any records, leave them as they are. But in doing new business, put your nationality on it. If nationality is asked for, use your name of El or Bay properly. Let all old business stay as it is, and all new business do it in your free national name.
There's a part that you read after doing in your free national name.
Yeah.
There's a part that came after that. Would you agree with that?
In other words, do not change any records. Leave them as they are. But in doing new business, put your nationality on it. If nationality is asked for, use your name of El or Bay properly.
That kind of reminds me of the other day when my brother just came to me talking about, if I get a nationality card, would that work with the driver's license? And I'm already telling them, like, it's all about mindset, because if you have a driver's license, that's not really yours. Like, that's a corporate instrument. And you presenting the nationality card, it's like, for one, you're gonna have a different name, most likely, or a different title, or whatever. Like, you might as well just put all rights reserved, and you didn't really get that concept.
Yeah.
That's to show them that, where it's like, you just have to leave old business as it is.
Mm-hmm.
The driver's license, that's old business. Even if you renew it, it's still old business, because that's who you're operating as prior. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just leave it as RS reserve. That's their instrument. And until man's get an insurance company or something, you kind of have to just roll with the punches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Any other thoughts? So pretty much that's where it's at. Learning how to live within contracts, recognizing that everything signed is a contract. So, certain things you're gonna want to make sure your free national name's on it if it's a contract. But if it's pre you getting into this information, then it's what it is. You're gonna learn to live within contracts based on that contract, whether it's license, SIM card, health card, whatever. It's something that's been happening, because what we in doing the research on correcting those instruments to have the free national name on them, what they do is they go back and change it on the birth certificate first, and then they go change everything else. So now you're going to have the free national name on the birth certificate, which one gets them out the way from being held responsible for any type of human trafficking or illegal activity, unconstitutional, anything. They're off the hook because the name they put on there is not on there. And then two, you now put the free national name into a jurisdiction where they made a straw off of it. So now they have two straws. They have the straw that you change, that they're gonna take off and don't think they're gonna stop using it or whatever. And then the new one now that you got, that is now the birth certificate and all that stuff is gonna say free national name El Bay on it with it being in all caps. Which means that if you present that now, that's still not you. Even though it says El or Bay on it, it's still not you. So, that's why we do the proclamation, the name correction, and IDs, right to travel card, so that you have something from your government that you have to recognize. It's not about them recognizing it. People are saying, yeah, well, I put it down and they didn't recognize it. No, you didn't recognize it. That's why they didn't recognize it. The majority of times, because individuals are taking it because they want to present it to get to get something. When it doesn't, the offer and acceptance doesn't work like that. With regard to you presenting your governmental documents, because they're also playing. That's just like us getting trucks, getting garbage trucks, and putting our stuff on it and going up picking people's garbage up. They're gonna look at that as a challenge to them, because that's their stuff that they're supposed to be doing. That's how they get their finance. You're not supposed to be encroaching on their stuff, because it's a known whatever. City of Toronto is who does the garbage, and the city of Vaughan and city of whatever is who supposed to do that, right? That's who's supposed to provide the water. That's supposed to provide the hydro and the whatever. When they're foreigners, they're actually not supposed to be the ones that's administering those jurisdictions. But under the people being outside of them being government, that somebody else is it. They've been accustomed to this activity, even though it's not legitimate. So when we say we present our nationality card or we present our identification, there are instances where it's accepted and there ain't no issue, and nobody's questioning anything, nobody's debating. They just punch it in the computer up, you get taxes off, no problem. You got to get into this building, show ID, and look at it. Oh, name matches up, and whatever, you go do whatever you're supposed to do, right? So know that even though the powers that be are doing this thing of blocking us from exercising, it's not solely because of our ignorance, right? Like, they do have a part to play. The people who are claiming that they're government right now, they have a part to play in our position not being acknowledged, because they're the ones that really should be acknowledged. Just like we talk about when certain Moors go to certain stores, people running out, bowing to them and all that type of stuff, is where it's supposed to be at. Because we're the ancients return, that everybody knows the ancients are going to come back. And the only ancients to return are the so-called Negro, blacks, whoever, getting into their consciousness back again that they're not these fictions. And we are the founders of civilization. We're awake now. We know now. And again, with Drew Ali's teachings, we would have all these different temples in all these different jurisdictions, and all these people have a grand sheik, a grand governor, or whatever like that. They have their own government thing, and we could do what we're supposed to do, right? But we're in. Brother Sheldon always talks about it, how we're always in reaction mode, right? We're always responding to something else. We're never initiating to get a response. Right? There has to be more of us initiating for there to be a response, opposed to us always being reactionary. Right? So for example, one instance was with let all old business stay as it is. It was Broadview and Danforth, the CIBC at Broadview and Danforth. So I go there and going through the whole thing of, signing, whatever like that, and put all rights reserved. I think it was a money order or something I was getting. And she went to hold on a second, I got to go see if we could do this or whatever. So she goes to the back, talks to whoever, comes back, okay, everything's good, da. And then she says, so you know about all rights reserved, huh? He's like, yeah, I got a gotta protect my rights because it's corporation stuff happens. People steal info and all that stuff. That I know exactly what you're talking about. I reserve my rights too on everything. Da da da. I was like, all right, well, again, it's modern European. I'm like, okay, so about that. How much people in here know about that? Oh, not too many, but there's some majority of the people who run the bank, they know that it's your signature, and your signature could be whatever you say it is. You just have to have something else to prove that that's what it is, right? So reservation of rights, even Moore's getting blocked with that. I know more. We're going to get passports and going to get everything else, going to the top of the food chain to have sit-down conversation to get a passport because they reserve their rights on it. Like going to the office to go sit and meet with whoever the head is about, well, why are you doing this? You shouldn't be doing this and all that. And in the end, what are they going to say? That's my signature. Here's whatever with it. Here's another thing with it. Here's another corporation right here with it. Here's whatever with it. So how are you not going to accept it? Okay, well, I guess we got to accept it since you have supporting documents or whatever, when there shouldn't even been a question. They're just supposed to accept it off the bat. As soon as you say it, they're just supposed to accept it off the bat. No debate, no argument, no anything. Going back again to, why leave the old stuff, and any new business use the free national name so that you can be in that activity of being in a free national position, because you have to outweigh the Negro stuff, right? If you've been doing the Negro stuff for 20 years, then you need to be doing the Moorish thing for 20 years to counteract the Negro stuff that you've been doing for 20 years, right? So the whole idea of, have the free national name and all the new business is to eventually not have to go back to the old business. That everything that you're doing is in the free national name, and the time frame that it takes you to do it in the free national name is supposed to have eventually that old stuff just dwindle away. It doesn't even exist. Right? And again, certain, leave old business as it is doesn't mean dissolving the past or whatever. That has its place, right? Islam, right? That has its place. That's ultimately what the point is. That the old stuff has its place. The old mindset has its place. It ain't that we're not gonna deal with it. You know what I mean? But you're gonna deal with it differently than you did before. You're gonna take it from a different. You're gonna take it from a different perspective, right? Islam, Mark. If you want, you can take this one right here. So let all old business stay as it is. All new business doing the free national name. Any you can take that one. Any thoughts on that?
Speaking of passports, that's something you do national name because it belong to that jurisdiction. So when it comes to instance of traveling, we're not using their instruments, not moving with their instruments. Or would it make sense to kind of move with the same instruments, just with the old business instead of the new business?
Right. So with specifically with travel, right? Again, if there's old business and there's been no issue, right? You haven't had any issue. Just yesterday you got off the plane, boat, or whatever like that, using the instrument. Today you found about more science, right? And then you want to go somewhere. You're not gonna go put the nationality card down because you got something that you could use to go wherever. It's not an issue for you to move, right? But the idea is that knowing that that's not you. The passport, the license, the whatever, the nationality card, that's not you. The instrument isn't you. Instrument's instrument, regardless of the Moorish one, corporate one. Nationality is the individual, right? They're just using it to identify, but the being is the being, right? So that's why they asked Brother Abdullah, so how do you write to travel? Because they were talking about IDs and all this. He said, well, right travel, so you open the door, sit down, put the key, turn the thing, put it in there, and then you go where you're going. Right? Taking them outside of thinking that the instrument is why you do it. You know, you're flying because I have the passport. No, you're flying because you paid finance for a ticket. You're not flying because passport. You know what I mean? The passport has nothing to do with anything. That's just a way for them to control the movement, just like the license. You know, make you line up for 3 hours and all this. You know, that's what that's for, so that the structure could run. But if nobody had passport, it's not, you know, people with passports are blowing up planes or whatever. Right? So it can't be the instrument. That's the thing. You know, there has to be something else that is going on. So when the brother who drives a bus for a living, and he found out that he's a Moor, you're not gonna throw away the license, you know, because you already know at the job they're gonna want a license. Whether you're Moor, Sri Lankan, whatever, it doesn't even matter. They want a license. All right, so then all rights reserved or whatever like that, and here's the license. And then you maneuver with what it is that you have. Because again, the whole thing of living within contracts and reserve rights on it, so that if something does come up, you could bring up your rights that you just reserved on the thing. That, oh yeah, that's not me. I'm actually, and then now you have your stuff that you give when there's a challenge or some type of controversy, you know, like all the time, because they're gonna want certain things, right? Now you you know, if it's a thing where where you got finance to lose or whatever, then you could pay the $600, get the ticket, or you show the thing. They're either gonna say, yeah, you could go on the plane or you can't. You know what I mean? But no, you know, to change that date or the whatever, you know they're not giving you a refund, right? And if you do change it, you got to put an extra $200 or something like that to change it to something else, right? So if the finance is there to play with like that, to try and see what happens, then you get the ticket in the name on the ID, on the national ID, and then go on the plane. You know? You know what I mean? Or like you say, old business, leave it as it is. And being that it's old business, then we're good to go. Especially if you've already been somewhere with it. You know what I mean? You know.
Even thinking like from like that perspective, how a lot of people are awakening now and they're coming into this knowledge, and they're going to be finding out about Moors and what Moors are doing. And maybe they haven't gotten a passport ever or a driver's license. What would you say they should do? Because I've already seen Moorish here that have Canadian passports that say Moorish American or some nationality.
Yeah.
So I know it's possible.
Yeah.
But is it, would it be considered? I don't know if he did it from before or what or after.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I know a passport may be separate from even a health card and driver's license.
Yeah.
What it connects to the birth
Yeah.
certificate anyways.
Right.
But that's like a private, somewhat.
Yeah.
Like the airline, it's just a business. You're just purchasing your ticket.
Yeah. And that'll be similar to what we were talking about. The new business, that if they never had that instrument before and they're going to go apply for it, then do it in free national name. They're either going to get it or not. That's where it's at. You have your supporting documents to prove your nationality, your position. Send that in with the application, and then they're either going to say, yeah, all right, here's your stuff, or they won't. Right? If you know that's what they're requesting. If you went to do nationality card and they say, nah, we don't accept this, we need a passport, then that's the option. Being that they never had anything before. Right? They never had that instrument before. I wouldn't go create, I wouldn't go put the straw name on it if I never had one before. You need a free national name, and in that case.
What about the case of renewal? The old stuff.
Yeah, renew it as the old name.
Renew it as the old name.
Yeah, and just reserve your rights on it.
For the red card, it's not really new. The new style, you consider that new?
I think the number on it's the same, right?
Yeah, cause it's gonna be the same. Yeah, because they're not unless you're
Picture, not on picture. So,
on what?
The health card.
yeah, card.
Yeah.
I have no picture.
Yeah, with the white and red or whatever. Yeah.
But now to get the new one,
Yeah.
the picture.
Yeah.
But it's the same news.
Yeah. Once it's renewal, that's continuous. So that's always old,
Just
even
add-
though they're renewing.
Just add the picture.
Just add the picture. Just fez up in the picture, turban, and all rights reserved.
You talk about passport, that it's in with Yasin with most.
Yeah.
So he get a world passport.
Yeah.
And they were in South Africa.
Right.
They kidnapped him. But now he's moving on it, I guess, because he don't have a problem because in France 2 weeks ago, some cancer.
Yeah. If it's that, or if it's something else,
Yeah.
Kudo said it's about the finance too. He had the
Yeah. He's moving like that.
He got it like
So
that.
he has his 1 or 2 people he can call or whatever like that, pull strings or whatever. But the thing with the world passport is that that's no different than
He's still connected.
it's still some foreigners giving you an instrument to travel in your own land. You know what I mean? And then they however they set up the World Service Authority, right? There's acknowledgement there. Like it's accepted that who they are and what they're doing is accepted. That these people make passports or whatever like that. We've seen them all the time, whatever the talk is, So, it goes back to the thing of the activity and the issue with the individuals who had this information and did nothing with it. The people who knew that we were Moors and kept this in the temple like church, and it not being out there like when Noble Juali was around.
So I was watching the lecture you were giving the brother that are calling when they show you how they try to suppress with a new deal.
Yeah.
I I never know about that. So all these organizations that we have say, oh, as once they have these black Negro colored on it, it's just to keep you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use the instrument there, the passport instrument.
Say that again?
The passport?
Yeah.
I use it.
Mm.
In it now, I have the same strong.
Yeah.
But I changed.
Change it, yeah.
My picture of my face.
Right. Yeah.
The first time using it, I put my price to travel card in the middle, in the page, in the first page.
Mm-hmm.
So when I give it to them, they get their instrument and my thing in the middle.
Yeah.
When we went to Jamaica and the custom, I took it, you look at it, look at all of them. There was one error. He said the address where you're coming from not correct. Fix it.
Yeah.
And then he told me, oh, you don't fix it. You, as my son, take care of your dad. He had to fix it.
Mm.
Then he said to me, go and tell your people the truth. He didn't ask me how long I'm staying.
Yeah.
He didn't ask me what I'm carrying. Nothing. Go and tell your people the truth. Don't hold it back. Those are the exact words. Don't hold it back. And like I said, the fares in the passport and my birthright to travel and birthright card in here too. He sees them all. He knows them all. He said, go and tell your people the truth. Don't hold it back.
Yeah.
My son could tell. He said, when he walked away, he was surprised. He said, he knows what's going on. He knows what's going on.
Yeah.
For him to say that.
Yeah. For him to say that.
Yeah, and that's my experience using the passport with my face, with the straw.
Yeah. Because it's a once you have the nationality card or the paperwork or whatever, it's a supporting document to your claim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So majority of times, if somebody has a supporting thing, they're gonna go with it. You know, if you say like when Moors would do tax exempt, they always take a receipt with them, so you can put on a receipt to show it. If these people make more finance than your corporation, and they're going to accept it, who are you to say you're not going to? And here's a receipt to show, or a receipt from the same spot. Here's a receipt to show that we already dealt with this. Why are you even giving me a hard time when, you know, Frank, where's Frank at? Let Frank do this. Because obviously you don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? You know? And then even with that thing with the right to travel card and the thing was a fluke when I did that. Because most times when I do the traveling, I don't have anything other than bank card in case I have to whatever, passport and nationality right to travel. That's it. I don't carry anything else. And when I pulled out the passport, he opened it and the stuff was in there because it was in my pocket loose or whatever. So I guess it just didn't walk in, it just slid in there or whatever. So when I gave it to him, he opened it up and he's looking at both of them, you know, and then they did to send me in the back or whatever, you know, went to the back and then the other dude was going through the bag. You know, so what you got? Oh, you got, teacher or something like that? What is it? You know, what do you do? You know, you start talking about Francis Cresswell singing, that's his favorite, you know, black scholar and all this or whatever, you know. Put the stuff back and then I was on my way. But yeah, that's how that came about with me doing that and going forward from it just accidentally getting in there, you know, when I pulled it out. But yeah, that's something too. That if you have their instrument and it's in good standing and whatever, then you give your national ID with it or your right to travel with it, so that you have your rights reserved, so you're letting them know you got rights and that you're identified as such, and then 2, you have their thing, so they can't say, well I don't want to accept it or whatever like that. Well, there's your one that you're not going to complain about. There's your passport, which is good. There's your license. There's your SIN. There's your whatever, which is good. And then there's mine, just in case, you know, just in case.
Just in case. Just for you to know.
Just so you know. Just so you know. We get a couple more of these. The Holy Prophet told the Moors that there will be the Holy Prophet told the Moors that one day there are going to be so few people that when you see an old Moor, you will run up to him and kiss him on top of his head. The Holy Prophet told the Moors that one day there are going to be so few people that when you see an old Moor, you will run up to him and kiss him on top of his head. Every time I read that one, I remember we went to, where was it that we went to? We went to where was it again? I think it was North Carolina. I think we were in North Carolina. And somebody at the thing, I think it was Seton Rock that they went to. And they were just in awe that this is the guy from the videos or whatever. It's like, this is the guy from the videos. Like, this is him in front of me right now. This is Seton Rock Bay from the, you know what I mean? And the brother after or little time we were talking, and we were talking about, man, there's no Moors out here or whatever like that. You know how amazing it is to see you Moors here? Like, you know, it was me, Ali, Taj, Seton Rock, you know, Kadira, Neil Bay. There's few Moors there. There's few Moors there. And this Moor was just spinning all day. Just spinning. I've never seen a Moor before. And then I come to this thing and there's Moors everywhere. Right? Just Moors all over. Moors chilling, Moors eating, Moors, like this is, you know, he was losing it. Every time I read that prophecy, I remember that instance of just how happy that Moor was to see Moors. You know, only doing this thing online. You know, only online. Years just online, and then Moors just happened to come to his spot, you know, and he was like 2 minutes away from the spot where it was and all that. He was tripping. But the thing again, there are going to be so few people that when you see an old Moor, you will run up to him and kiss him on top of his head. But that was even like last week when these Moors saw you out there.
Yeah, that's right.
It's true. I think the only temple now is in Fayetteville. One.
Yeah.
They used to have one. They used to have in Charlotte. They used to be one, but for some reason they can never keep it open.
Brother E. Thomas L. said that the Holy Prophet said, all nations will turn against the United States one day. Brother E. Thomas L. said that the Holy Prophet said, all nations will turn against the United States one day.
Yeah, like their own, when they find out what they did. They're themselves going to turn against their own.
Mm-hmm.
They still don't have a clue what's going on.
What's out about in the States, they have like every nationality in them. So them doing anything to their citizens, they're basically like messing with every other nation.
Yeah.
They basically have their enemy right next to them, like right next door to them.
That's what they're trying to
Yeah.
Trying to keep the other half of the people. Because they're boxing yourself.
Yeah, straight.
keep on going
Well, you know, if you're not careful, your own brothers will try to put you in slavery. You know that one. Brother Ikook Bay, Grand Governor of Illinois, said that the Holy Prophet said, "If you doubt that I am a prophet, watch my prophecies."
Which number is that?
151. If you doubt that I'm a prophet, watch my prophecies. And again, once you go through the prophecies, you'll realize how much stuff has happened. Brother Ikook Bay said that the Holy Prophet said, "One day you are going to look for the good Moors and you won't be able to find them. Some people do not attend their temple meetings as they should. And when you go to look for the good Moors, they don't know where to find them. And there may be other events that may come up where the good Moors may find it necessary to leave the cities to flee to safety, and the unfaithful will not know where to find the good Moors."
So not in June, they're not up to date.
Yeah.
But I said nowadays with all the sellouts kind of rebuilding themselves. And then you have people paying like what 20 bands for like a package. So
Yeah.
and then they got before they even went to the sellout, they got told by the honorable don't go over there.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about our people, they have this like we're so combative towards each other that we have this like just because you said no, I'm gonna go over there.
Yeah. The self-hate is real. Yeah.
Yeah, just to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And then just like much right now, it's like even like earlier with Marino. Like Marino's like one of the first ones I even looked up. Nowadays you can't even find most of his videos.
Yeah.
Gone now. So it's like you can't really blame him for leaving.
Yeah.
The way things are going on. Yeah, Marino.
Yeah.
Or Mario.
Yeah. Mario Bay. Yeah. Yeah, he's straight. He just took it underground because same thing. Too much BS. So we're just gonna listen to this civic education presentation relative to Nigeria and national consciousness and identity, and just some discussions on the things that they recognize as national identity symbols and what those things would be relative to our position.
Hello, students. How are you? I'm excited to meet you today. You are welcome to another segment of e-learning of civic education. I still remain your civic teacher, Ruth Tanko Godwin. Today, we are going to discuss...
Yeah, her name's Ruth, by the way.
What's that?
Her name's Ruth. Ruth, yeah.
Mobile.
Yeah.
the topic national consciousness and identity. What did I say, learners? National consciousness and identity. What do we mean by national consciousness? National consciousness is the awareness and sense of belonging exhibited by individuals towards the country. The first step in the emergence of a nation has been attributed to a rise in national consciousness. It has to do with some feelings of shared duties and responsibilities individuals should offer towards making the nation achieve greatness. It is the kind of feelings that emanate from patriotic zeal. In a layman language, we can say national consciousness is the feelings towards your own country. Of course, a positive feelings, not a negative feelings. When they say you are conscious of a thing, that is, you are aware of that thing, you have feelings for that thing, and you want to see that thing turn out well. That is national consciousness.
Part of the national consciousness definition, they mention about the duties. So we just want to read social duties from the Quran, chapter 30. When thou considerest thy wants, when thou beholdest thy imperfections, acknowledge his goodness, O son of humanity, who honored thee with humanity, endued thee with speech, and placed thee in society to receive and confer reciprocal helps and mutual obligations, protection from the injuries, thy enjoyments of the comforts and the pleasures of life. All these thou owest to the assistance of others, and couldst not enjoy but in the bands of society. It is thy duty, therefore, to be a friend to mankind, as it is thy interest that man should be friendly to thee. As the rose breathes sweetness from his own nature, so the heart of a benevolent man produceth good works. He enjoyeth the ease and tranquility of his own heart, and rejoiceth in the happiness and prosperity of his neighbor. He openeth not his ear unto slander. The faults and the failings of men give a pain to his heart. His desire is to do good, and he researcheth out the occasions thereof. In removing the oppression of another, he relieveth himself. From the largeness of his mind, he comprehendeth in his wishes and happiness of all men, and from the generosity of his heart, he endeavoreth to promote it. So noble making reference to the Moorish movement having a Rotarian complexion, and the one-on-one questions having him holding up women, and seeing each other as brother and sister and holy covenant and all that is part of our national consciousness. It's presented from others who look at this from the outside in. This is a religious book, and Holy Quran is religious, and it's spiritual and whatever like that. But there's a national thread that's running through everything that we're doing, even the religious things to the spiritual things to the economic things. There's the idea of making sure that it's something that's broad and expanding, not limited in its scope, right? Because when we look at everyone else, for example, there's a national consciousness when it comes to German automobiles, Asian automobiles, South American automobiles, whatever the thing is. There's for all the nations, there's a view of it from this is something that has national a national connectivity to us, right? They have a national flower, national food, national, dish, certain way that the nationals dress. All these things encompass the consciousness of that nation. So in them making the reference to national identity, to national consciousness, they brought up the duties, and then we can go to Drew Ali, and then we have social duties to show that, okay, well, there's a check mark that we qualify as a nation, right? So the next thing she's going to talk about now is national identity and the things for Nigeria that make their national identity be in existence. Any thoughts on national consciousness? Anybody have any thoughts?
Totally agree with what was just said.
Islam.
Now, in order to know whether a person have a is conscious of his nation, or what make that person to be identified as a nation, as a citizen or a member of a nation, is what we call national identity. National identity. What is national identity? This represents the characters or trends and symbols which are shared with a group of people, but differentiate them from the other nations. National identity are those characteristics, those trends that differentiate people from the people of other nations. And what are those things? What are those trends? What are those characteristics that is the identity of a particular country that differentiate them from another country? We are going to discuss some of them. Number one, the national flag. Number two, the coat of arms. Number three, the currency. The next one, the national anthem. Another one, the national pledge. Then we have the Nigerian international passport, the constitution, and also the national identity card. Now, my learners, the Nigerian international. The next one, the national anthem, flag. Number two, the coat of arms.
So 1 and 2, they had national flag and coat of arms. So we already know the flag is the national flag. What symbology amongst the Moors would we look at or make relative to the coat of arms or a coat of arms? If we were to pick something, if we were to pick things for our national identity to represent the coat of arms. So keep in mind, Cuba's coat of arms has the Liberty cap on the top of it, right? When you look at all the different shields of heraldry with the Blackamoor statues on it and all that stuff, right? That's where it's going. You'll see a lot of them would have a shield, and then the shield will be on grass or something like that, and then they'll have some type of animal on it or two individuals on it, whatever. So what symbology for the Moors would be relative, and we're saying, Moors in America, Moorish nation, Moorish empire, Moors. What symbology would be equal to say, okay, yeah, that would be or could be part of, or that symbol itself could be the quote unquote coat of arms for the Moors. Brother Cool, you had something.
I'll see the fez and the turban.
Yeah, most definite. Most definite. Fez and turban. Anything else?
In the sun, like the star moon.
Right, yeah. Crescent star or crescent moon and star. Circle 7 could be one. I think somebody said pyramid. Somebody said pyramid too. Yeah. Really? Yeah, some type of feminine representation. Yeah. Scimitar. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. The 5-point star too would be that. Yeah. Yeah. Anything that's symbolic. Anything that would stand out as something specific to the Moorish paradigm.
This come to my mind. If you mention the flag, I think the old Brixton flag, British English flag, had 4 so-called black heads in the corner. From Cardiff.
And that was Sardinia. Yeah, Sardinia with a red, right? A red cross, and then 4 heads in the corners. Yeah, Sardinia. Yeah.
The black one with the head.
With the headbands. Yeah. Right. So national flag and coat of arms.
National flag. Number 2, the coat of arms. Number 3, the currency.
So 3 is the currency being a symbol of national identity, right? We know with Brother Prince Uriel that they had their currency for the Moors with Noble Juali on it or whatever. We also know gold, silver, precious metals, all that could be the currency. If we look at herbs, spices, whatever, stuff like that, again, anything that comes from the earth, anything that's natural. The currency would also be the industry of the people, how industrious the people are. You know what I mean? Are they strictly a consumer, or are they also manufacturers? Are they also creators? Right? The mindset. Where is the people's mindset as a whole? Even in certain countries that are quote unquote third world poor countries, they have a national consciousness, right? They have a national identity. Look at for example with the Dalits, with in India, they've been on the bottom so long that they've accepted that's their position as a whole. Anybody who's classified as that's where they're at. They're not even interested in going anywhere else other than that, because that's all they know. They don't even have a reference point of anything else. All they know is the lowest rung. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Some people they call them Dalits, and they have it set up where they don't function as part of society at all. You know what I mean? Dalit, Dalit.
Those are the ones living in the mountains?
The low class.
Yeah, this is the low class ones. The mountainous ones are more like shamans or priests or whatever like that. You know what I mean? But the ones that we're talking about those are the ones that anytime anywhere there's a temple or whatever like that, they have like a barrier around the temple where they can't even cross to go give honors or give offerings or whatever like that. They're so dirty they can't even go in the temple. Is how they deal with them.
Yeah,
They're so dirty that if you want to give them food, you throw it at them, type of stuff. Like you don't go near them. You're not in their vicinity. You don't go.
There's a guy who was in Atlanta. His name is Dr. Berlu. I don't know if you ever watched Dr. Berlu.
No, I never heard
He's
of
a
that.
doctor.
Yeah.
But when he come out and he was giving a lecture, and he was making them know that even the Constitution was written by those.
Yeah.
The same, who they call it,
the low class. Yeah.
They put them down there.
Yeah.
They build a temple and they can't go in.
Yeah. That's the issue with the caste. Once you buy into the caste system.
Yeah. And when they found out the guy that wrote the Constitution, they want to kill him so that he won't come out.
Yeah.
The guy is saying they're not following the Constitution because it was written by a dialect.
Mm.
And they don't make people know it. Dr. Verlu, VELU.
VELU.
Yeah, Dr. Long, when I was on the park, years ago, I peeped it. It's on YouTube.
Yeah. Dr. Velu.
Yeah.
So again, with regard to the currency, so we have the consciousness of the people, whether it's the natural resources and all that, the spirituality of the people be their currency. Again, the resources, whether it's oil, gold, silver, platinum, whatever they can extract. Any other things for the currency of a people?
The next one, the national anthem. Another one, the national pledge.
Right, national anthem and the national pledge. Holy Covenant could be national anthem or pledge. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Could be the pledge. And then think when you got the pledge, think about the oath when people become Canadian or whatever. Pledge of allegiance, anything like that. Something that you're gonna affirm. When you get your national identification, what's written on the national identification could be your pledge. And again, these are things that have been presented by Noble Drew Ali in him saying, we are a nation. And then we go look up nation and they're saying, okay, well, these 8 things is what you need. And then we're going off the things and then we check off everything. Then that's qualification. That what he was saying was right and exact when he said it back then, when national consciousness amongst our people wasn't even a thought. And if it was a thought, they would have copied some type of Pan-African ideal that they got from across across there. It wouldn't be something that's from here, something organic. Right.
Then we have the the Nigerian international passport, the constitution, and also the national identity card.
So, passport, constitution, and nationality card. Right, so nationality card and passport, you'll be right to travel, and nationality card, right? And then constitution, we have divine constitution, zodiac constitution, right? The enforcement of the national constitution. When you look at the idea of them saying national identity card, right? And Nigeria's late. They just said in their Nigeria yesterday. So this idea of national identity card, and Noble Drew Ali saying that in the 20s, before majority of these people, is definitely a point of reference to show him being on point with what he was presenting for the Moors. That we go through the thing and everything's there, flags there, currencies there, anthems there, pledges there, coat of arms is there, right to travel or passport is there, national identity card is there, and constitution is there. As far as if we're looking at Nigeria as the reference, because this is a Nigerian civic education class, right? So this is what they're acknowledging as what makes them who it is that they are, and then they're going into now how these things will be dispensed for their nation.
Now, my learners, these characters that I've just explained, we are going to pick them one after the other to discuss them. Let's pick the national flag. This national flag is the flag that make one to be identified to be a member of a particular country, and that flag can never be the same with another country. Wherever you go, you see that flag, you identify that flag as a symbol of your nation. That is what we said is a national flag. And this national flag is like an umbrella that brings people together in one place to be identified as member of a nation. Now, let's look at our national flag. Our national flag. This flag was designed by Mr. Taiwo Akinkomi in 1959. He was a Nigerian. This flag was used since 1st October 1960, from independence up till today. It has two colors of green and white. My dear learners, these colors.
So again, with the idea of the flag and them with their flag representing their independence, right? This is the same perspective of Drew Ali presenting our flag to show that we're independent, right? We're not fully functioning as a nation, but everything is there for us to function fully. It's just, are the people looking at it as a nation, or are they looking at it as a religious organization, religious corporation, some association of whatever? Even though Drew Ali said this is not a social organization. And even though we have social duties, this is not about, socializing. This is about taking your place amongst the affairs of men so that we can be our organic national stuff instead of being classified as the names that allude to slavery. An acknowledgement of us as free nationals opposed to wards or somebody's property or something else, right? The idea that the flag has, Noble Drawley making the reference in the 101s that it's the red flag, green 5-point star. The stars, the points on the star have representation, right? The star being Venus, takes away the thing of some man-made thing, like they say. We got our independence and we made our flag in 19 whatever. Well, Venus doesn't have a date, right? There's no date that you could equate to Venus, right? The 5 principles. There's no time frame that those things came into existence. Love been around, right? Truth's been around. Peace has been around. Freedom's been around. Justice has been around. This is not some new man-made concept. These are things that are in harmony with human life, and then they're in line with nature, right? So the idea of having this flag represented in a religious organization, in a civic organization, have it represented whenever the Moors are somewhere, the flag is there. Like they're saying, it gives others a reference point as to, who are you, right? When Moors go out with the flag and other people who they think that's their flag, and they're coming up. Oh, you got our flag. No, it's our flag too. That's, I get you, but it's our flag too. It's not just yours. Yeah.
She was talking. She said that there's no country flag. You can't copy another flag or something.
Mm-hmm.
The Moroccan kingdom came after.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And not just colors like that for beauty.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So they adopted in 56.
So you get that November 17th of 1915, they adopted the one with the.
Say again? Who's that? Oh. No, I mean, they're here. Can't do nothing now. Peace, brother. Yeah, pull up. Yeah, pull up. Pull up. How are you? We're good. How you doing?
You want to sit down?
See, nice dress. I love that dress. Wonderful. Hey, my brother, how are you, man? Everything's good? See, nice pictures. Love it, yeah. You're on my mind. It's good. Sorry, brother. Everything's good?
Salam, brother. How you doing?
You can sit, no problem. Yeah, one and one together. That's good, lovely. Oh, amazing. Thank you. It's okay. I'm good. Thank you.
How are you, brother?
Very well, yes, I know.
Whole week to see you back.
Yes, I know. I tried to call you on Friday. I never heard back from you. So for everyone,
Back, but you did not take my job.
oh, maybe I was on the work.
So you
So.
were busy, yeah?
Yeah,
So life.
Yeah, well, you should always have life for this, right? So.
life is busy.
So for all of us here, these were some brothers who had come last week, right, Noir?
Yeah.
Our brother here met them. They're from the temple or from the masjid around the corner.
Yeah.
And so we've decided to meet every week to try and communicate and find our similarities and find our connections, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Yeah. Well, was based on from last week to today. Was there any questions that you guys had or anything?
We wanted to come on the other day. We have a Jamaat. Like Jamaat is like 10 or 8 or 10 people. So they used to go everywhere in the world to spread the deen of Allah.
Mm.
So they were here. They wanted to meet you at the same day when I told
On
him
that day,
yeah,
right,
and
yeah.
I called him back, but he said that we are busy, so you
Yeah.
come on next week.
Yeah.
So whenever any Jamaat come, we will bring them here so we can. They want to talk to you.
Right.
Also ourselves.
Right.
As the brother Umar said,
Yeah.
that we need to find our similarities and we need to find that whatever is the way of Allah, that the right way.
Yeah.
Because He gave us a path. If we are deviating from His path, we are not doing whatever He has asked. We do whatever is according to our imagination.
Yeah.
He
Right.
is not going to accept our deeds.
Right.
So we need to find the similarities. We need to find the way that Allah has given to us, because our God is same.
Absolutely.
It is not like that we are some different God. So our God is same. There is no, we know that you know and we know that our God is Allah. So what He wants to do doesn't matter any other human being.
Mm-hmm.
We need to see His message, His kitab. He said Quran. You have Quran, right?
Right.
And we need to find out that what He says to us, because people may disguide us. But Allah's Quran, He took His responsibility that there will be no one can change it without my permission. Luckily, you have this one.
Right.
So we will come towards the right path. Like we need to find out what is the right path. Not because the people, if there are so many sections in other, they say that we are Muslim, we are in Islam, but they have like different kind of beliefs that is not acceptable in Islam.
Right.
So that's why we are here. I think Abdul Salam is, you can also talk to them for something that if you have any question. So we need to see that what you guys are doing, what Allah Ta'ala has said in Quran.
We believe Bible 100%. As a Muslim, we don't believe the Bible. As not a Muslim, we believe Bible 100%. Before Bible, whatever comes, we believe 100%. You understand?
Yeah.
We believe the Bible. As a Muslim, if you don't believe the Bible, you are not a Muslim. We believe the Bible 100%.
Yes.
We just came to meet the brothers today.
Yeah, we just came to see you.
Yeah, the dialogue.
The first step is just meeting.
Right.
So that if you see me, I see you.
Right.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you, right? So this is how we also build our community through unity and establishing love amongst each other. Right? So if we come together in common goals, also even just with regards to community outreach and things like that. So you're welcome also to come to the masjid.
I was thinking about this today, that when I talked with you, that we definitely have to come attend.
You're
there.
welcome, of course. You're welcome. So alhamdulillah, we're going to we can schedule another time. You have his number, correct? So just coordinate with him.
Right.
And the day that you want to come, brothers and sisters can come as well.
Right.
The masjid is there, and then we could take you around, and then we could just sit down and do like
And I like what you said too about the community outreach and things like that. There was a couple times when the city said clean the streets. If I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
So we came from the top and we went to the bottom. So we think that moving forward, maybe we can have whatever that may be on that day again. We can do that again together, or maybe some food drives or something.
Yeah, sure. So
I can share with
keep this connection alive.
For sure.
Yes, this is the birth.
You can come here sometime because we feel like love. We feel that we are not strangers here.
Yeah, no,
Like
for sure.
whenever
For
I
sure.
see you guys are so nice and you give them so like a very warm welcome. That
Well, it was a reflection of your energy, just know that, right?
Yeah, it's okay, but.
And your name is wonderful name.
You have to thank my father or the father for that. Right?
Read the Umar story.
That's right.
Umar is
I think you know about.
wonderful.
No, you guys, this is why I say you guys have a lot of history to be able to teach us.
Really?
Umar.
So my father, I come from the land called Jamaica or Yamakwe, and my father named me after a very famous cousin, Omar. So I still don't know that side because me and my father do not speak a lot, but I think I took that name back on, and I know now that it's the right one, right?
You know,
If you read it the Umar history,
you will be surprised. You will be like
you
proud.
never
Cujo's
forget.
surprised all the time.
Proud. Because there were two women before Islam,
Right.
and they were so much powerful that Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he that raised his hand that, oh Allah, give me one Umar.
Right.
So from two of them, when one Umar, he accepted Islam, and he was so much like he wanted to kill Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and
Before he was Islam, he wanted to kill him.
Yeah, and he took out his sword. He said, "Today I'm going to kill Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam." He was going, and he went to his sister's house.
Right.
She was reading Quran. She said, "What are you reading?" She said, "I'm reading Quran." If you also became Muslim, she said, "Yeah, I became Muslim." She said, "First of all, I'm gonna kill you." He took out his sword and he said, "Okay, what you are reading?" When she started reading, I don't remember the ayat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Umar, when he listened, his heart
Turned. Yeah.
turned, and he put his sword, and he took the same sword, and he went to Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And like there were a group of people, they were there. They said Umar is coming. Umar had like a big name in the Makkah that he used to have. If he wears a cloth, there were around 8 or 9, 10 people. I don't remember exactly. They used to carry behind him, and he used to wear one cloth. He was not going to use it twice. He just throw it away.
Right.
It was so much powerful, and means he was also like in the wars. He was so, like he has a power.
Right.
So the Prophet, the Sahaba, whoever the group, they were scared that Umar is coming.
Right.
Prophet ﷺ said, "Okay, let him come."
Right.
When he come, Umar, he said to them that I want to accept Islam. And they said they all was very happy, and they shouted that. And at that day, when Umar accepted Islam, he said, "Are not we on the right path?" The Prophet ﷺ said, "Yes, we are on the right path." They were scared to pray in Kaaba, and Umar, it is to challenging the whole country, city. He said, "Today we are going to pray in Kaaba, and I will see who is going to stop us."
Right.
And Umar stood on the door of the Kaaba. He said, "Today, who want to be make widow his wife, and who want to make to be orphan his kids, let him come."
Right.
And all the Sahaba, they prayed in there, and he was the guardian of all of them.
Right.
He has so much power, and even after that, there is a long history.
Right.
You will find a complete book on Umar.
Okay. I'm gonna have to.
Whatever system you are seeing today,
Right.
His history have a Bible too. I read.
Absolutely.
You can find in the Bible too.
Absolutely.
yeah, he is a very much.
We call Umar. Umar, he was a prophet.
Right.
You should read it.
Yeah.
Definitely will. Yes.
Definitely.
I'm feeling motivated now.
You can continue, and we will meet next week whenever you guys
Yeah.
have time.
Well, yeah, next week we're out on a
Yeah,
retreat,
next week,
but the week afterwards, if you want.
Yeah, sure.
But maybe, because usually we go 12 to 3.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe if you do we want to alter? I don't know, maybe we should communicate as to how we want.
Yeah, we'll talk and figure out.
I mean, maybe, I don't know how the forum, because what was interesting after we talked, I decided to start to read some of the Quran, the Q rather than the K. We have the Quran, and I was just looking to find certain verses that sort of were inclusive of us.
This is what also I'm thinking. Yeah.
So I just thought that maybe it would be something for us to sit down and break down these, or come together with these books to sort of see where our similarities are.
Yeah.
Right.
We are gonna join you every week whenever you guys are here.
Now we're on.
Maybe you will have to arrange.
No, we love it. It's, you know, I think it's
Yeah,
great.
we love to hear from you.
Yes, yeah.
You will have to organize some more here. At least I will come. If no one else comes, but I will come, you guys.
Yeah.
So okay, you can continue and we
Yeah.
will
Before, let me
Thank
say
you,
on
sorry
this,
to
we
bother
were
you.
always inclusive. We were always inclusive.
Yeah.
Because we were the ones that went into Andalus. It's the same thing we are. You
Yes.
see? And when we go to the mosque in Andalus was to learn, to educate. That's why they say come to the masjid.
Yes.
That's why, because there was no university where you learn in the masjid.
Yeah.
Until Fatima, later on, one of the Sahaba's granddaughter, built a masjid in Kairwan.
Oh.
That's where the first masjid was established. Then now we get Timbuktu. So it's the same
concept.
It's the same. But the same Muslims, but you see we changed the MO to MU.
Oh. Yeah, it doesn't mean.
No, but it's the same Muslims, the same Allah.
Yeah, same Allah.
But
Okay, same
in
Allah.
time we will see what is it we have in common, and alhamdulillah, you
Yeah, that is still, I'm very glad. I am.
you start right like more and more down, you're gonna be surprised.
Yeah.
From same place.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So are you guys, you'll come back again, I guess?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, he'll schedule and then
Okay, so
also
we'll talk about
you come visit us.
We got a link, I don't have the number.
Take it right now.
Yeah.
Our friend, you know.
For real.
Oh, is it?
For real.
We go back.
Oh, I see.
Look,
Oh, wow.
look at
I
this.
see,
Look at
I
this.
see.
You know who's on to this, right?
No.
Gotta drop that. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, you give me a number, no problem.
You have a pen?
Yeah, he can.
We got phones, old school. We got phones. Salam, brother. Thank you.
Okay, once you write it on paper, it doesn't go anywhere, right? Put that in the phone, drop the phone in the water.
Drop that phone in the water. You're done.
You're done.
So yeah, man.
All right,
Peace and love, brother. All right.
But no, he is the one that got him first. He has to get his go to brother.
Now you have it.
All right, don't be okay.
Okay? You can find me Home Depot, Caledonia.
All right.
Brothers from the East, bro. Crazy. Right? Yeah. So, yeah. Prophecy in your face.
Yeah, that's it. Remember last week I said you're late.
Yeah.
I thought I missed them today because you said you were coming.
Oh, yeah. So once we set up,
I actually have like certain verses like ears to hear, can't hear, and actually I have the highlighted.
Yeah, right, yeah. Some parts. Yeah. That'll be sort of the homework. You know? Pull the Quran out. Find some references. Yeah.
And as I say, Muslim was always the old.
Yeah.
Because when you go in the dictionary, Muslim is the old.
Yeah.
Actually, I was building with Rennie. I was telling him my book that says that Elijah Muhammad is the one who changed it. Prophet Muhammad, they're the ones who changed it from MO to MU over here. So that's why we don't say, we say Muslim now.
Yeah.
It's a Muslim now. So Prophet told us.
She has a book on
Yeah.
the history of.
We switch things up.
But back to that, we were talking on the
With the national,
Yeah, with the New Deal.
Yeah.
With all these sophistry did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That was a good lecture.
Yeah. Pull the door. Pull the door. Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah. Where is it before they left there?
No, nothing. I was just saying that we should come together to sort of have a sit down, because I thought a lot of it seemed from the last time that they were here that they were more about sort of putting their edict down about how it should be.
Yeah.
Right. That's how it was last week. We were waiting for you to. We thought that you would be here to. Obviously, they saw. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, they checked him, eh?
Like, he's here.
He's here, right? You notice that? He was like,
Muslims here. Oh no.
Right. Oh no. Right. Just smiling. So.
Crazy, bro.
How do you know?
From the masjid.
Okay.
When I just become Muslim, like when I tell you I was reading and I have become a Muslim, right?
Yeah.
And I come there. So he, like, in the young days, how we used to think, because he's from Jamaica too.
This one?
Yeah, Brother Salam. So we always like, when you're young and you always grinding there, So it was a big crew.
Right.
And the crew just, and then one day I come here and then I see, my brother, so we get so back, but then we lose back again because I go back to Brampton, everybody thinks, so now we come back in like,
no coincidences.
Yeah, definitely not. No,
he gave me some book on the history of the Muslims in Jamaica. So I'll go get that one. But I was saying that we should sit down. He said that their space is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So, today seems to be quite a healthy turnout. But we could still afford to have them here if we just spread this out. But I would say, I did some studying over this week in terms of some Quran verses that were indicative of them being open to bringing us in.
Oh, you got those right there? You got them right there?
Yeah. What?
Yeah, put them out.
Well, so that's I didn't know what I think that they probably felt a little intimidated, right? They came with a little more force.
Yeah,
they
brought their back
up.
And the
man who didn't want to stand out with the mask on in the corner and shit like that. So the ones that I found, these were just 6 verses. 6 Quran quotes that teach love, tolerance, and freedom of religion. So the first one was, "Oh you who believe, enter absolutely into peace." And it says in quotes, "Islam, do not follow in the footsteps of Satan. He is an outright enemy to you." In the verse above, Islam intrinsically calls for peace and fosters a life in absolute sincerity and honesty before God. Therefore, it is vitally important for an individual to believe in God with his own will and aspiration, and observe God's commands and advice through personal conscientious contentment. Okay, then the next one, no one should be forced to believe in Islam. There is no compulsion where the religion is concerned. Holy Quran 2/256. As stated in the verse, no one can be compelled to live by Islamic morals. Conveying the existence of God and the morals of the Quran to other people is a duty for believers, but they call people to the path of God with kindness and love, and they never force them. It is only God who guides people to the right way. This is related in the following verse. You cannot guide those you would like to, but God guides those he wills. He has best knowledge of the guided. Holy Quran /28.56. Freedom of thought and religion are paramount. The Quran provides an environment where people can fully enjoy freedom of thought and freedom of religion, and allows people to live by the faith and values they believe in. According to Islam, everyone has the right to live freely by his beliefs, whatever they may be. Anyone who wants to support a church, a synagogue, or a mosque must be free to do so. In this sense, freedom of religion or freedom of belief is one of the basic tenets of Islam. There's always freedom of religion whenever the moral values of the Quran prevail. That is why Muslims also treat Jews and Christians, described in the Quran, as the people of the book with great justice, love, and compassion. God says in the Quran, God does not forbid you from being good to those who have not fought you in the religion or driven you from your homes or from being just towards them. God loves those who are just. Surat al-Mumtahana 8. So those are some of them. And then I was desperately, that's why I haven't been saying much, because I thought these guys were coming in hard, right? So, yeah, bro, I was getting all messed up. I was all buddy, I was ready for them, right? I didn't know what was happening. You never know, you gotta be ready for these things. Right?
Question over there. I actually have one because I thought we were going to do that. Because I sent it to you a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
It says,
and do not argue with the people of the scripture except in the way that is best, except for those who commit injustice amongst them and say, we believe in that which has been revealed to us and revealed to you. And our God and your God is one. And we are Muslims in submission to him. Right there. It's using their own stuff correlated with you, right? If yours is revealed to you your way, ours is revealed to us our way, for our prophet.
Right.
Yeah. Right? Our prophet told us to honor all prophets. He told us this is the uniting of Asia, uniting of the Quran, right? So it's supposed to be it's supposed to tell us to, get back to that.
Even though when the guy over here, you said, we gotta get to the right way,
Trying to,
Islam is
That's
the way.
also a way to just drop that.
Islam is the way, and they say, what is Islam? There's the thing you have to, that's the question you present. What is Islam? Right? What Islam mean? You see, they didn't get that. We got it over here. They had it. They had it, right? They had it. Because when the Prophet Muhammad came, peace be upon him, he told them. Because he had to realign them. And he was a Moor. Right? He was a Moabite. He from the Canaan. You see, when you go in there, they say, history that brought me to the path. To wake me up. Because I used to have questions. Why? I used to why people don't like me? Why people don't like us? Something wrong. So as history, and then you say, what is Islam? Now we come to whereby the way this first happened, and we had to come to the aid of the brothers in Andalusian. And then booked another discourse happened, and everything went, and we all lose our way now. Because as in the brothers in Palestine, they keep that secret to themselves, they didn't let it go. So now here comes number 12. Come on, wait, these guys don't know what's going on, these brothers, they are lost. I gotta bring them back. Uplift, because we fall.
They think they had Islam.
Right. No, they didn't have nothing here. Right? And those ones were hiding in there. So they said, what these people are doing to you, they calling you this. Wake up.
I think where our problem is that the indoctrination that has been put upon them through sort of the dogma is where the issue is going to be, right? And this is what you're facing. I called him on Friday. I think he said he called me back. Maybe I didn't recognize the number, but I know that their imams will probably, or whoever their leaders are, we've seen this with other groups, that they start to get very concerned because obviously that's their revenue stream, right? But it seems to me that they're obviously here with open arms right now, though you can tell the gentleman who was standing up, he had a bit of an energy there, right? He started talking about the Bible, right? So you can already tell that what they've done is they've sort of started to already write a narrative, right? That somehow we're on about the Bible or something, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, but you see, the brother, because they said this brother gonna be able to relate, right? Yeah.
Because he's from over here.
And you see, because as you say, the barring with the English language is very,
Well, that was one of the things I was saying to them, that I'd like to, a lot of their language that they're using, I'd like to know the definitions, right, behind, it wasn't the mosque, it was the masjid and whatever, and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, one of the things I was convinced of, they have a movie called 6 Degrees of Separation, and obviously you and this man from across whatever know each other like you're from, you guys were brothers, right? Well, I mean, as I said, I wonder where this is all going, because part of me wonders, I mean, I guess talk is good, but are You gonna be there every week debating them on this Quran thing?
Oh, no,
It's
no,
not what we
not
did,
even.
it's about
Not even. I mean,
waking up the understanding.
No, also,
They may, look, you see, because I tell you, what, one time, you know, most of the brothers from the East, like Asia, Pakistan, I read some books, right? And I went to the brother and I asked him a question. And he looked at me and he like, if you ask me in Pakistan, you dead.
so that's how it is.
You asked me that question, you dead.
So,
He told me the truth.
yeah, but that's exactly what I'm telling you though, right? We're at a point now where freedom of, which is here in the Americas, right? Freedom of expression.
Yeah.
Freedom of.
They don't have that.
communication
They don't
is
have that
something-
next. Yeah.
So you have to
Some
think about
specialty
now-
stuff.
Now, I would think to myself, maybe they're right, you know, on certain levels, because I've just been reading this book talking about how it's really the corruption of our society that has led us to our fall as well.
Yeah.
Right? So by keeping those things, that's why they don't drink in those countries.
Yeah.
Not to say that there's still not the same stuff on other levels, but that's because corruption is coming on different ways.
Yeah.
But they know that alcohol leads to a great
Leads
part
to
of
certain
that.
things. Yeah.
Right? They know that if you're in, and it wasn't wrong, you know, you think about that. It wasn't wrong to come here and give one day to, let's say, you know, religion, which would be religion, which would be rebinding. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's the corruption within that. But as I said, I fear, but I am cautiously not optimistic as to where they want to take this, because I think we've already seen the ones that were here last week that they're very much caught up on. Because that's what I said to them outside. I said, I know that you guys are about a very strict form, and they all nodded.
Yeah.
Right. But I was saying, you know, we have to try and find
the parallels,
the things that are similar. I didn't even want to get into the fact that, you know, but it's interesting that in that QURAN, it doesn't really leave a lot of room. When I look at verses that are supposed to give us freedom, they say there's 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There should be 600.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to be worried about that.
Yeah. But I think the part of it too is that recognizing where they're at. You know what I mean? And it's like we're saying, you know, we're not playing the religious debate thing. We have our way of life, and then they have their way of life. And you know, they have a masjid, we have a temple, and there is some type of connection there. But I don't think it's based in the religious part of what this is. Maybe it's for example, you know, getting everybody over there who's Caribbean to realize about their birthrights. You know what I mean? Not to that they have to leave the masjid to come here. You know what I mean? But you need some lessons on the nationality aspect, because everybody in your mosque over there has a nationality guaranteed. You know what I mean?
The brother was here, he's from Maka.
Yeah.
You know, now we speak, we're gonna have more dialogue with him.
Yeah.
He might even get himself to get a fez.
Yeah. You know, change up the frequency. You know?
I see maybe more importantly that what we can do, as I said, the works.
Yeah.
Maybe we can be out there, you know, and clean the neighborhood up.
Yeah.
Clean the parks up.
Yeah, some hands-on things together, doing some things in unity.
Yeah, because I can see that maybe being a better way. That can be a better way of bringing us together in a certain way, where if we're all cleaning the street, we can communicate. Right?
While we're doing
while we're doing that.
Versus
sort of trying to, because I can already see that they're going to be talking about, you know, why you ain't praying 5 times a day. Quran is the only thing to answer. No, I know it is, but as I said, I just because we. Joe and some of us who've been there, probably you two who have been around for a long minute, know that that there's what I've sensed with us that is different than everyone else is that we seem to be open to learning about stuff. It seems to me that most other groups
they're not open like that.
Yes, it's always about converting to their way, and if you do not convert to your way, their way, then they don't have anything to do with you.
Yeah.
And their interest drops off like a cliff the instant they realize
that you're not down with their or down to convert.
Were you there for the first Unity Summit that we went to? You remember that one where they were trying to get us to put in the $100 for the Jamaican?
Oh yeah,
camp?
the camp.
So we didn't put that money in. All of a sudden, it was cuss, and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we learned, a lot of the Hebrew Israelites too. That we dealing with those guys. All of a sudden,
even the ones right out here. A few times. Yeah.
But why are you coming at us like to see like we have common ground because of us? You guys can stand there.
Yeah, but you see, that's coming. Sorry to interrupt. That's coming from a perspective of being sort of one's vanity, right? You're correct on that, but by pointing that out to them, what you're doing is challenging them, because ultimately, it's like the source. They're talking about their father. You're talking about their great grandfather.
Yeah, because it was the Hebrew Moorish science temple, right?
Yeah.
So now why you come out and you did something somewhere else?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be here, right?
Ultimately.
If the Muslim, you're supposed to be here. The Christian, you're supposed to be here because we go all together and harmony as one under nationality. No.
Yeah.
We live together.
Yeah.
We think of the reason because we are the one. Right?
We went to a Jesuit school. That's
That is the thing there is a brother at my work from the Philippines. He told me he went to that school. And his mentality when he talk.
Yeah.
I said, them guys.
They guys put something on you.
There's a bunch of individuals in the workplace. I say, you gotta be careful for these guys to post on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's this guy? What I have them on check,
Yeah.
I always watch them when I come in. I know he's there. I know where they are. I have because right, I have this mentality like to be.
Yeah.
I'm always on cue.
Yeah. You had some more?
No, just another comment. I was just reviewing it when the two empresses sat together. Oh, good. The women are sitting together. I don't know if you heard that.
I heard it.
Yeah, that's just all part of that same. Well, dogma. I mean, as I said, on certain levels, when you look at it on a certain perspective, they're probably not wrong, but I think it's been corrupted.
Yeah.
That would be the woman's auxiliary.
Yeah, or the elder, the council of mothers or whatever it is.
But he was coming at that from the perspective that
the woman should be by themselves over there. Yeah.
In other words, too, like as if they shouldn't even be here today.
Well, that was, and I think, you know what? I'll bet that's another thing. We'll go there. I don't think women go there, do they?
Yeah, women go there. Yeah, I think
you think?
Yeah, no, women.
Hold on.
I don't think
You're not sure, are you? You want to put some money down on that one? Well, I got a little fiver right here. We don't bet. Hold on, we don't bet.
Oh yeah, we don't bet.
A Moorish gentleman.
Because I know there's one with a South African brother that came to Canada. He had a South African community and he donated the masjid to pray. And he said if there's any separation between the men and the women, I'll take it back from you guys. So, so you got the men in front and we watch each other like this, but the men there and the women here. We tell them this is the grounds for getting it.
Yeah.
But he still created separation though, right?
Well, what you do, normally they put a wall, like the women be behind it. They won't be seen.
That's how it goes?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
There's no wall. No, there's no wall.
Oh, at the man who you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, let me say there's a post there, you come like that.
Right.
The line, this is the men don't come out step over this line because this is for the sisters.
Yeah.
And
okay.
You go over that line, but you can see Eric.
Yeah.
He said he want no separate division like that.
Well, I guess that kind of makes sense. But let's say you want to put in the car and my wife's over there.
Because sometimes, like the wife may try to call the husband, but she got come all the way around to get him. The child may be acting up, or he won't give the child to the wife. You gotta ask him.
Yeah, wow.
Call my wife.
Yeah, I remember a sister was saying when she went to the Hebrew spot, they had the men were up front and the women were in the back or whatever.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah,
Same thing.
yeah. And then they didn't even have a seat. Women didn't even have a seat, and they just had to stand in the back. While the brothers just sat there. I was like, I don't know, and they were just back there chilling. Standing,
I was going to those brothers, but those brothers were too, when when we have the conversation.
Too hype up.
Used to come up by Jane and Fain.
Yeah.
So we used to have this discussion, and those guys were like, I'm like, I gotta do some more searching, man. Continue.
Yeah.
I think what might be interesting to see is where their communities are. Financially, like you were talking about the other, this I think connects with your the aspects of nationality with that lady that you were talking about.
Oh yeah.
Just in terms of
yeah, that could be discussion too. Not even bringing up any religion stuff, but hey, how do you guys get your masjid? How do you guys get? What are you doing out here? You know what I mean?
I'm sure but that's the thing, that behind the scenes, I'm sure it's all the same religious.
Yeah, more than likely. Yeah, more than likely.
Nonsense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Being signed off on
from them. Yeah.
Same thing with the man next door here.
Yeah.
But then I think that what that does is that calls adherence to sort of probably they're still beholden to someone.
Definitely. Which is where the whole thing with the pushing the agenda thing, because they're beholden to somebody, so they don't have the freedom to.
It was interesting. I worked with a guy who does the 5 times a day. He has an app on his phone.
Yeah.
Right, and then he's going to the washroom and trying to find an area. But I thought to myself, these people aren't wrong on certain dynamics. If you have I think I talked to you about this. If you have 5 million people all stopped directed on one thing, it's probably huh? Well, no, or it's a very
or it's off,
or it's a very off energy.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's all in what it is. If it's all about preaching love, then I think that's great. But I gotta imagine, because what you notice with a lot of them is that if you're not about what they're about, it ain't really about love. And that to me is the problem. Because it does tell you that, right, if it's the same God and it's Islam, then we're walking the same path. But ultimately, you ain't praying 5 times a day, all of a sudden you ain't on the path. You ain't coming to the Majid, all of a sudden you ain't on the right path.
Yeah, that's where the issues come.
You have women up in your thing, you're not on the right path.
Yeah.
So all they're gonna come on is on the salah, the prayer. Okay, let's talk about the prayer. That's it, right? Because everything else we have.
Yeah.
We pray too.
Yeah.
No, but they would claim that our adherence to not praying every day would be, I guess, what would I can't think of their name for it, but it would be sin, right?
Haram is forbidden. Yeah, they say haram. Haram.
I thought it's so.
And halal is permissible. You see, it's the Arabic language. Yeah. You see, and because that's something the Inquisition took away from us too. Because business or commerce was in Arabic. Because in the Spanish came out from Arabic. Even the Portuguese and the Spaniards could speak to each other, speaking their own dialect, because most of it come from the Arabic and another island, they think Malta. But they speak. Yeah, they can talk in their own language and they all understand each other because they have the Arabic
It's through
Thing is
through
like
all of
how we
this.
speak
Yeah.
bad words,
Yeah.
what going on and thing and
Right. You still know what he means. Yeah.
And we know what we're saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Regardless of the island. Yeah. Regardless of the island.
You might not even know to spell it all right, but we can talk.
Brother, it's all right. You're bad. What? You know, you go Finny.
Yeah.
Where you go Finny? I mean, you're in big trouble, right? You got in big trouble.
Mm-hmm. Is there any questions? Quran chapter 3. This unity stuff going on, might as well talk about some unity. Since it's on my mind and I don't forget. So for whenever this thing's gonna be with those you can just put it down if you want. Just put it. Yeah, just put it. Just lay it down flat for now. For whenever we go meet with them, you could if you talk to any other Moors too, just let them know. Do some Quran reading, do some research on it, just so we have some the Quran over there.
I just Googled things like, and they seem to have.
There's enough. There's a lot.
No, I'm saying that there's Quran verses on love, say on unity, on religious sort of acceptance.
Yeah.
I would say to focus on that. I think that we should definitely before that though, just have a little bit of a game plan. In terms of how we want to approach it with them and maybe lay the groundwork down. This is what we want to, at least for our first one, we want to talk about whatever it is. I think that's how we should go about it to begin with. I'm still not sure what the power structure is there in terms of.
I think.
Seems like Ansar seems to be sort of the intellectual sort of, or at least the speaker guy.
Yeah.
This guy over here, I don't know who.
He's the mufti. He's the mufti.
Yeah,
he's definitely the mufti.
Yeah, definitely, right? This man was probably the ambassador, right? There, right?
Yeah, the liaison or whatever.
And the secret guy over here was the assassin, right? The guy in the last just quiet.
Who was it that you were talking about that they said they wanted to come that same day that they came? But
so what he's saying is that every week that they have people that are coming from all over, and this is what they told me the last time, that they're coming from all over the world. That's what he's saying. That come to visit there. And that he's saying that last week they had some people, I guess, from wherever it was, all over South Africa. I think I heard him mention something like that. And they wanted to come at that point and sort of debate or get into things. And Cujo had said it didn't make sense at that point.
He was specifically talking about Islamic movement founded in 1941 in British India. Jamaat. I remember that's something he mentioned, Jamaat.
Yeah, not like person that he was talking about.
Jamaat is a group. Like over here, he said Jamaat, a group, a gathering.
Yeah, because I think from their perspective, they're coming from a Middle Eastern, for lack of a better. They're coming from a Middle Eastern perspective, seeing us more from a West Indian,
Caribbean, West Indian, black, whatever.
Kind of.
That are adopting some radical form of Islam or something like that. We need to get back to the masjid type of thing. Chapter 3, the unity of life. Again, Elihu met his pupils in the sacred grove and said, No man live unto himself, for every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will love and not demand love in return. They will not do to other men what they would not have other men do unto them. There are two selves, the higher and lower self. The higher self is human spirit clothed in soul, made in the form of Allah. The lower self, the carnal self, the body of desires, is a reflection of higher self, distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. The lower self is an illusion and will pass away. The higher self is Allah and man and will not pass away. The higher self is the embodiment of truth. The lower self is truth reversed, and so is falsehood manifest. The higher self is justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is what the higher self is not. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murders, theft, and everything that harms. The higher self is mother of virtues and the harmonies of life. The lower self is rich in promises, but poor in blessedness and peace. It offers pleasure, joy, and satisfying gain, but gives unrest, misery, and death. It gives men apples that are lovely to the eye and pleasant to the smell. Their cores are full of bitterness and gall. If you would ask what to study, I would say yourselves, and you will have studied them, and then when asked me what to study next, I would reply yourselves. He who knows well his lower self knows the illusions of the world, knows the things that pass away, and he knows his higher self, and he who knows his higher self knows Allah, knows well the things that cannot pass away. Thrice blessed is the man who hath made purity and love his very own. He hath been ransomed from the perils of the lower self and is himself his higher self. Men seek salvation from an evil that deem a living monster of the netherworld, and they have God of the netherworld, and they have gods that are but demons in disguise, all powerful yet full of jealousy and hate and lust, whose favors must be brought and costly sacrifice of fruits and of the lives of birds and animals and humankind. And yet these gods possess no ears to hear, no eyes to see, no heart to sympathize, no power to save. This evil is a myth. These gods are made of air and clothed with shadows of a thought. The only devil of which man must be redeemed is self, the lower self. If man would find his devil, he must look within. His name is self. If man would find his savior, he must look within. And when the demon self has been dethroned, the savior love will be exalted to the throne of power. The David of the light is purity, who slays the strong Goliath of the dark, and seats the savior love upon the throne. Islam.
I had a thought that maybe one of the things we could have done is maybe come with some of our verses.
Yeah.
Some, not verses, but
Yeah.
so we would come with 3 of them,
Right.
2 of them, or maybe even just one. I mean, I thought that was a good
Yeah. You really like was a good one, yeah. That's what I was thinking when I was reading. Like, damn, this would be a good one to drop out of up there.
I was thinking that maybe we say that we're coming with three verses of either unity or love.
Yeah.
And they should come with 3 of unity and love.
Yeah.
And we can
discuss,
on those, find similarities, and how we can build on that.
Right.
Be the first one.
Right. Sounds like a plan.
It's good. So we keep it like form of a subject matter.
Right.
Yeah, but what it does is it allows them to stay within their realm, which is the Quran, and it allows us to stay in ours. It also brings both of them together.
Without the.
And then because the subject matter is about love and unity,
That's
also
even though bring it together, we keep it into the subject matter.
into a good subject matter.
A lot of things we would want to find out from them, but not all in one shot. We got it. When we go, we work with whatever we're working with at the time.
Right.
So I like when we reason the affairs down to the last thread that all the Tesla or whatever, instead of the affairs and
then the other. Another thing to discuss too is like you say, the religious where that I see he's dressed in that long gown.
Yeah, Jalabia, yeah.
Or whatever. So
Yeah.
we could ask them about those things. We could talk to them about.
Yeah, about
I know they know
our
I know they know about the feds.
Yeah, because remember, that was one of the main things. When I met them, when I met them, that was one of the first things I asked him, and he said to me, "Today I wear it." Because I said, "Where's your headwear?"
Yeah.
Where's the other two?
Oh, that's what he was talking about when he was leaving, that he wore it. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's what's up. So going through.
Sorry, the bottom
No,
line
go ahead,
is
Mark.
good.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because look at our Christian brothers right
Yeah,
here.
never stepped a foot in there.
Thank you. I want to see another verse.
Never stepped a foot in there. They all changed their sign, and we still never got a visit yet.
That's who I was all my life. All my life I was Christian.
Yeah.
Was this interesting on saying that? You haven't mentioned the Mukti guys mentioning, no, we believe in the Bible. We believe in
Yeah. Actually, that's what I wanted to ask too, because when he was talking about the Omar thing, he brought up about Omar as a prophet, right? So that I wanted to ask you about their view of the, like, how are they looking at the prophets and then Muhammad is they have him as the last and then there's nothing after, or Muhammad is the last drop.
And they said it too. He said after him there was no.
What that is, you see, this way, say, when you come in the traditions, you see, the traditions is what people write after the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And this is where you find they will take away this and say, why all of these literature born? They say, oh, it's born because it had inconsistencies. Right? But we don't know this, they born it. They born the books in Spain. We don't know, but we know it's knowledge they born and destroyed in Spain, right? So the thing is, they would say in the tradition, because like, as I say, I like history. And in the history of the thing, like among the Muslims, like we say the East, they divide themselves. I listen to every one of them. I sit down with the Shia brothers and say, tell me, but because I'm searching. I'm not gonna just hold on you and then the other brother talking. I'm like, so what do you do? I went to Guyana and then I sit with some of the brothers. I tell them, like, in Canada, these guys don't sit with each other. The guy said, really? So now I sit down with the guy telling me stuff, and I'm like, I come back and I start asking certain questions and the guy. But I know what questions to ask, right? I don't want to ask the guy questions. I'm gonna bring out some
swords.
And I think, and then they're like, oh, this. I say, okay. Oh, yeah. Then I go and ask a couple brothers different stuff, and where they tell me things, So, like, you will get the whole picture of what really going on. But among the Shia, like, as they say, when the Prophet Muhammad left, he didn't left for Umar, he didn't left for Abu Bakr, he didn't left for Ali, he didn't left for Uthman and them, even though Uthman and Ali's family, he says Ali. And this is where all this was going on today happening, because he said Ali is like Musa is to Aaron, Ali is to me. And after me is Ali. You don't hear about that no more. He said, follow my family. When he said, now if you say Al-Bayt, they will put the sword on you because Al-Bayt means you're Shia. You can't say Al-Bayt. And one of the brothers in Detroit said, why I can't say Al-Bayt? When we come, we grimy, right? We Moors, when we come, we grimy, So the guy said, why I can't say that? What's the matter with you guys? It's not I can't talk about Fatima. I can't talk about Ali. I can't talk about Zainab. Why? So now they will get quiet. They say, saying you guys have this rancor in your heart, and that's when the rancor come in, you know. And this when now they invite in the Khazars. And this is where we get
talk.
Oh, history, I tell people, history don't lie. A man can write a lie, but the history will always refute it.
Yeah.
And that's what I realized. So I always say, wherever, anywhere I'm going, I'm coming with history. If the history don't back it, then when you tell me, I have to take it, but I have to research it.
I think though we also have to, one of the things I just realized, we have to be careful though too about the history, because it's his story.
Yes, whoever wins the war.
So the story that you're really hearing, that's why I started to think that really it's not, history can be important, but it's really about the present.
Yeah.
Right? The history you can tap into.
But that's why I was kind of referring to, like, I'll take what you say, but I want to see some reference, and then I reference other reference concerning this reference, and then origin of these references. My brain thinks like that.
But I would say this, that I also think though for us, the history is important to foundationally, but what are we doing today?
Yeah.
What now today, then in a year from now
becomes history, yeah.
So what are we doing? So I was talking to Kujo, I think about this earlier, about the fact that, you know, I mean, we've been here now 7-8 years. What are we doing? Right? What are we doing? We talk about all the history we want. Here, boots on the ground, I keep using that phrase. What's happening? Nothing's changed for us. It's changing slowly, but you know, I mean, it's really about, as I said, getting 2 jobs, about digging ditches. We get caught up in this history, so that's why with these guys, you know, that's why I can see Kujo's at. Some of this is interesting, but again, what I was just thinking about, I'm sure what's happening is that their numbers are starting to drop. That just came to me now. That's why they're out on the streets.
The recruiting? Yeah.
Well, in a sense recruiting.
No, yeah.
In a sense recruiting, but in a sense saying, you know, because it's probably there, and all of these religions, in the way that they have put them together, are really dogma. And this now is the era where all this stuff starts to fall apart.
Yeah. That's what's going on.
So now they've got this book that's sung in the prayer 5 times a day, and Allah doesn't, you know, I can't. Even this other therapy group I'm talking with, the creator did this and the creator did that. I said, creator, obviously this creator's messed up. This creator's given everything to the European. This is our, oh, well, it's karma. What karma? What did I do that I gotta be suffering this for? Some nonsense. This is the rhetoric that they got you. This is what, and that's what's dangerous with these guys. Like you can see a lot of them have a purity in it, but they've been caught up. It's like learning, you know, any martial arts. It's like learning a certain style that is wrong, and you got to unlearn it. But then you've got people that have vested interest in keeping that style alive.
Yeah.
When really the style, that's where the circle 7 comes in. The circle represents, I was thinking about this the other day, the circle really on a 2-dimensional level is really the sphere in 3 dimensions, which is the unlimited responses to something. So we should always be able to find our way out of this, because we're not constrained by some form. And that's where I see we have a very, very unique advantage. That's what the Quran was about. It did not vacate or it did not limit us to anything. In fact, it gave us everything as long as we follow those 5 principles, which will be the answer to everything. So,
Now, any other thoughts or questions, comments?
I don't get thrown up in the whole mix, but Omar was saying, it's feeling the vibe and energy of these guys coming here today. Like, you know what they're dealing with, the outer body of the knowledge. 20 years ago, I had a discussion with a traditionally Muslim guy like that. To my surprise, he didn't recognize, we're just talking, just building whatever. Says on this crescent moon and the stars is just the moon is passing over the phase of the sun. It's supposed to represent those cosmic bodies. My surprise is like he had no idea that that's representative of heavenly bodies, just crossing each other.
Yeah.
This is, a Muslim guy,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. That's just very representative of whatever they have going on over there. It's always good to talk and share. Yeah. Problem is, they're going to try to bring you down to their level. Absolutely. Because you're not supposed to have the inner knowledge. Absolutely. And that to them is as you say, not haram, but the other word. Right? Yeah, that's that, you can't control, obviously, people who understand their proper relation to God. And them coming seeing here, I mean, that's great. You want to open up and talk to them, no problem.
Well, that's why.
But you just know that they're going to try to bring you down to their level rather than coming in.
That's why, as I said, they're very anxious to want to get this stuff going. But it's a conversion thing that I'm seeing versus an uplifting thing. So in their mind,
as you mentioned, the West versus the East. Sadly, them coming from the East don't necessarily have a culture of freedom in that regard. If you think that they would come here and say, all right, you know what? Let me try to take advantage of the freedom that's here to uplift something. They're just going to go back to the practice of you have too much freedom.
Yeah.
And you let me know about the world that having too much freedom is better than no freedom.
But I would say this. That's why I say I counter that, because I was just reading something here about the Essenes, and it was talking in regards to the creation of Yeshua, and it was saying that basically his mother was put through a school for the women, and what it was talking about, and that's where I think it harkens to. It talks about the fact that Yeshua came from pure parents, and it was making reference to that Yeshua's mom was brought to a school where they didn't allow the degradation and the bad influences coming into her, which was, I think, when we talk about how the school is the womb, that it's what you put into that school. So if you haven't been inculcated with twerking and rap and all this weird sexuality, then your child is going to come out in that way of purity. So I liken that to how here what they've done. I think we talked about this too, Kudo, there's two ways they can deal with us. For example, with the marijuana, they were restricting it, and then they just let it go.
Yeah.
Now, you walk down Queen Street, Queen and Spadina, Queen of Bathurst, is 25 weeks.
Yo, crazy.
It's absolutely, it's absolutely crazy. Between Queen and Spadina and Queen and Bathurst, there's 25 week stores. Back in the day, you smoking a joint, cops would be arresting you and in jail for that shit.
For a roach.
Chasing you down for a smoke. So brother, I get exactly what you're saying, but what I know that they have done is they've taken our teachings and they've used them. We've given them up for the dogma. And the issue with the freedom, I think you're absolutely right. We do need that freedom. The problem is sometimes if you're giving too much freedom and then they focus on that, or they pervert it, then we have a problem. And I think that's where we're at right now. Everyone wants to be, a supermodel or something. That's what this was saying in this book, that they didn't focus on beauty, they didn't focus on any of those things. That they focused on good works and on the prophets before them and what those people did. So I just get worried because I think freedom, sometimes having too much freedom, can be not too much freedom in how it's been put out now can be an issue. So yeah, I don't know.
There's more thing needs to know other than the freedom. Like there's lots more to know other than the freedom.
No, but where I think our brother is right is that we need to have the freedom to be able to pursue that. We definitely need to have the freedom to pursue it. The problem is what they have done with freedom right now.
Tested under freedom, not under bondage.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. Islam.
I think way back in Spain or Andalusian, whatever, when was it the Hercules and who was fighting again?
You're talking
Hercules, that is gonna be in
Hercules.
Zeus and Hercules, you're saying, or is that?
Two of them fight. They were like warriors.
Mm.
Hercules and the other one. I forget the other one.
All right. And what was the?
But they were like brothers.
Yeah,
Right. And then that's a part of where the messed up thing goes on with Spain when we get kicked out, because we were fighting, and then the European capitalized on that and take it over. So like here now, the East brothers come over here, so we got to bear in mind these experiences that we heard before. That when we get together now, it doesn't happen like that. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They have their way of whatever they come with. We have ours. Yeah. So now we got to be careful when we get it together. Because that's what caused the break. What happened in Spain when we lost it. Because it's us fighting against each other. Even over here with the Civil War, it's us the same to fight.
Today.
Till today. Yeah. Those things we got to bear in mind. And stay focused on what we're supposed to see what's likely can happen or how things can go.
But I think this is where Kujo's topic of the day is most relevant. Is what everyone else has done is come together under a national banner. You go anywhere. You go to Chinatown. They'll love each other. They'll kill you before they kill their brother. Right after they kill you, they'll kill their brother. Yeah. But they're first going to kill you.
That's true.
India, they'll kill you before they kill their brother. For sure, they're killing you first. Anywhere else, in any other nation, you see that. Filipinos, it's all the same thing. We're the only people, and I think that's where, as I said, I listened to a KRS-One song talking about it was the word, it was the language. Once we started calling ourselves black, we took our identity from ourselves, and we cast ourselves down into this pit.
The whole mind, the whole concept of everything.
And that's why they've been refusing to give it back to us. They'll call you anything. African American, African Canadian, black, brown, green, right? BIPOC, POC.
On this, telling people learn the adjectives in third grade, right? Why are you calling yourself an adjective? And it's still an argument.
Yeah, it's still an argument. That doesn't change. Prophecy doesn't change.
It is what it is.
Well, you know, I had a feeling, you see the brothers in Massachusetts, right?
Yeah.
A lot of brothers waking up because of those brothers and what happened. I think this is gonna wake up a lot of brothers.
Yeah.
Because that whole seaboard there is gonna wake up.
Yeah. That was news.
I was like, yes, I know this was gonna happen.
And it gives no sleep that day.
Yeah, that was news.
Which are we talking the same as we've got?
Yeah.
Only armies, the brothers.
Yeah.
I know that was
It's a lot more.
So next week, right?
Oh yeah, nothing. There's nothing next week, so we'll reconvene week after. What else is going on?
I mean, I might say that what we then will definitely be looking to try. I mean, we reach out to that Moore's name who's here. I think it's Ansar. I think are we looking?
Yeah, so probably I guess we have a week to sort out.
And what'll happen is maybe we'll look to convene here for 12 o'clock, get our ducks in a row.
Yeah.
And maybe try to head over there
for like one.
Then we'll see. I mean, I want to try and keep it earlier than later.
Yeah.
My thing.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that they probably have meeting.
Have something
like
going on. Yeah, we'll figure out whatever the time is.
Come over, but as I said, we can see. But maybe we can make a special thing for next week, and we can go from the week after. I mean, go from like 2. It might be the kind of thing where it might go to 3:34. We can just do something like that, and we can sort of capitulate to them. But then afterwards, if they want, then we're going to have to they'll have to work with our schedule as well. I think we can go back and forth maybe. As I said, I don't see how many of these things.
Meetings there's gonna be like that. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. There's a lot more. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. A lot of Father of the universe.
A lot of Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. truth, peace, freedom,
freedom,
and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night, and by day, to his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Peace, Moors. Islam, Moors.